It took me 5 months to get this sample perfect. But before it was perfect, I had to do 4 different samples beforehand. Let me show you. I have a video of the vest, so we got to work with this photo right here. Basically, the key takeaways from this first sample was the body length was too short. You can see on the sides, the curves aren't emphasized. The shape doesn't look proper as envisioned. And then the flap on the front, we actually sewed on the outside, which we later changed, which kind of looks awkward. And then the zipper, you can see how it's kind of bumpy throughout the entire, and you can see the zipper is kind of bumpy where it like tightens up. And this is the second sample. What we did differently was we curved these in a little bit more on either side. And then we also elongated the body length a little bit, so it wasn't super cropped. It's still a little bit cropped on the body now, but to make the proportions look correct when the person's wearing it, we had to increase that length. But the main thing was changing the measurements to see how it lays on the body, but then also switching up from using down and putting in 3M Thinsulate, which is a little more flat. The other thing we changed was this flap. We actually inserted it into the fabric rather than sewing it on top of the fabric to have it make it look a little cleaner from the last sample. And this is the final sample. Now what we did here, it looks like nothing's different, but what we actually did was we changed the seam allowances. We changed the seam allowances to give us a little bit more room on the body. We had a large seam allowance, which in turn folded more of the fabric and made it tighter on the body. And the reason why this sample and the last sample are white is because we just wanted to make it to see the fit of everything and not go through the whole process and waste a bunch of time and money on the other processes. That was the only difference with this one. We fixed the seam allowances, everything else is the same. We wanted to dial that in before doing the final sample so that it would have a proper fit. And this is the final result. Fit is exactly like the third sample. We added the buttons this time around. We also added the 3D pocket. It's got an invisible zipper on the top. We added the tag. And then this is what it looks like with the Thinsulate, which is an uncommon filling to use instead of down feathers. And then we also dyed it again, and it gives it this really interesting texture, not even texture, it gives this really interesting fluctuation of color throughout because of the fabric we used. The fabric we used was actually a Japanese twill with 2% polyester, and because of the polyester, we believe that's why there are kind of these inconsistencies within the dye. But yeah, overall, this is the final result, and it came out really good. If there's any takeaway from this, it's definitely keep making as many samples as you can, even if it is slightly longer than how it would take just to save money. Keep pushing through. Keep making those samples until the product that you want is exactly like the vision that you have.